Hello and welcome everyone, Stormy Sensei here. Tonight we're going to be playing some more Honkai Star Rail. Hopefully... No, patch day is like 2 days from now. That would have been disastrous if we were actually too late and we were going into version 2.6. Those were just bug fix patches. It is pretty much my Honkai Star Rail anniversary. So luckily I actually went out of my way to remember to put the day that I started playing, 10/15. So I actually got my little birthday cake in the mail not too long ago. I was preoccupied on the actual 10/15, but this is close enough. And since this is 1 year in, I figured this would be a good time to kind of do a little account review. As we'll start with the light cones, because that's pretty reasonable. These are actually some new additions. I actually just pulled Huahua's light cone on the last light cone banner, or previous light cone banner. And then I pulled something irreplaceable from the Starlight shop and got Night on the Milky Way from the standard banner. But I have all the Herta Store light cones. Will it show what superimposition they're at? They will not. Okay, well, they're all 5 except for these two. Solitary Healing is 3, I think, and Texture of Memories is 1. I only got it because I want to complete everything. Everything else is 5. Some of my favorite... I actually don't use Sleep Like the Dead, but I am leveling it up soon, so it will be in use pretty soon. Some of my favorite 4-star light cones. Shared Feeling carried me through most of the game, because that was Huahua's light cone for a very long time, back when she was E0. You gain a little bit of energy every time you use your skill to all allies. But now that she's E1, she only skills once every 4 turns instead of, well, once every 3 turns instead of once every other turn. So it's not really worth doing this anymore. Now she's using her signature. Landau's Choice also carried me through most of the game on Fire Trailblazer, back when that was a thing that I actually did. Currently my most used 4-star light cone is probably Memories of the Past, because Harmony Trailblazer is actually broken. We have a lot of the breakfast light cones. I have 2 of them at S5 because it's actually just that good. I happen to have a Genius's Repose at S5 as well. Is that true? That might be S4. And I do have one Dreamville Adventure. Oh wait, never mind. I do have one of those, but I was actually thinking about the Erudition version, the day the Cosmos fell. That one's S5, but it's only level 70 out of 70. I use Multiplication on Gallagher as kind of and Meshing Cogs on Tingyun. Those are my only 3-star light cones I actually use. Do I have all of the event light cones? I am missing the very first one because... Oh, I guess I don't have Hey Here over here either. I actually started when this event was going on. I think I kind of remember, like, around the time that I was actually paying attention to the battle pass and doing the events and whatnot, and doing, like, logging in daily to do my missions. I noticed that I was, like, not able to do any of the museum stuff or the Foxy and Haunt missions. because I started. Let's see, when did I start? I think I started on Silverwolf's ban art technically, but it was like right after that banner that Topaz and Sela were running, and that's when I like, basically it took me so long to get off of the space station that they swapped banners, and so I actually pulled on Sela while I was in Bellabog still. So since Topaz was that banner, then I guess I started during the Atrium Wars. Ethereum Wars. And I don't have it before the tutorial mission starts because I started playing with the PS5. But new Herta Store update in like 2 days, I'll be able to get it. Light cones that I would like to get that I don't have. Let's see. What does this one do? That is that's like almost good for me. I could probably put this on Bronya and then do like a March 7th Fei Shao Bronya sustain team, but I don't need it. I've always wanted this one. Use your basic attack and heal your own HP, or restore all allies with a little bit of HP. Just because like some of the healers are like not that great. Like this would actually make Lynx work, or Natasha work. But as it stands, they don't really work too well as 4-star solo sustains. Gallagher would also appreciate this, I would think. Sometimes. I think that if you had a fast enough Gallagher with enough energy regen, then you wouldn't need this necessarily. But I don't really need anything else from this, I guess. This would have been nice for my Aventurine. But I'm actually planning on pulling Aventurine's Light Cone, which is coming up in a couple of days. Because there's pretty much no team that doesn't have either Huohua or Aventurine right now. I'm still a couple more months away from having a strong enough account to actually do sustainless endgame content. This would make a pretty good difference because Aventurine would have more crit damage, he would have vulnerability, and he would have a 40% defense increase instead of what I'm currently running, which is like day 1 of my new life, which isn't even S5 maybe. It might be S5, but that's 24, but that's like double the bonus from that. And then I'd be able to swap off of defense boots into speed boots, and then he'd be able to get more fortified wagers. Next up we have characters. We got a lot of very new additions. I pulled on the Fei Shao banner and got to 300 standard pulls. So I actually got a double like 2 streams ago, I think, where I got Bailu and was like, this isn't that bad. Because I was only missing 2 standard banner characters. I was missing Yanqing and I was missing Bailu. And I wanted to use my standard selector on the other one, kind of. I was going to consider if I got Yanqing to just get E2 Bronya, because I actually plan on using E2 Bronya. Because increasing ally speed by 30%, lasting for 1 turn, is kind of useless on everyone, except, well actually it's not, I shouldn't say this, useless. So the thing about Bronya is that I need to rebuild mine because she's at the perfectly wrong speed. And I'll show you what that means.
Time to change tactics.
As you can see, my Bronya is the fastest on the team with 1 to 34 speed. It's a little more than that because, oh, whoops, I'm on PS5 now. It's a little more than that because I have Hoha's E1 as well. So she's at 140 speed right now. But she wants to buff Seele, but Seele is only 10 action points behind her. So most of this buff of the action events is completely wasted. Now this is kind of okay with Seele because you can just use your skill, and now you have a speed buff of 25% for the next 2 turns. And on top of that, you can use your basic attack to action advance yourself. But for other characters like Jingyuin, you end up wasting all the action advance every single turn, and all you're really doing is just giving yourself a damage boost for 1 bonus skill point. You could get around this by making sure that you set up your speed tuning so that your damage character is faster than Bronya by 1 point, and that way you absolutely maximize the amount of action advance, because now they're all the way at the bottom of the turn order and Bronya brings them all the way up to the top, and now they're both at the same spot. And then the next go round, your damage dealer goes another time, and then Bronya brings them back up another time. So that would be the ideal situation. So right now Bronya only really works with Seele, and I would like for her to work with other characters that I have. He's so dead.
Don't mess with me. This battle is lend me your strength. What a headache. A sharp side.
I need to do this thing anyway, so I'll show you what this actually does look like when I'm using I'm blind. Where's my Bronya? There she is. She was hiding. Breakfast is fine.
We're in trouble now.
Alright, we wasted 15, right?
Lend me your strength. We've entered the storm.
Now, unlike Seele, he doesn't have any sort of speed buffing mechanics.
Time. Show no mercy.
1,000 wonders to raid. Fight as one. Better late than never.
So now Bronya is only 3 ahead of him.
You'll pay for this. Lend me your strength.
So all of that is mostly wasted.
It's thunder. Captain.
Let's be friends. There's always a weakness. Lend me your strength.
But if I had that E2
It's pitiless.
and he gained some speed buff, then he would be ahead of her after that first attack, and then you wouldn't need to worry about speed tuning as much.
No two.
Still, obviously, you would, if you wanted to completely optimize you would still speed tune so that they were now faster than Bronya by 1 after the 30%. Now, there are a couple ways that I could build around this right now. I could give my genuine speed boots, but then he would do less damage. I will probably actually eventually give genuine speed boots, because I've been told that if you get your genuine up to 144 speed, then he will always be guaranteed to move twice plus an ultimate, or 3 times plus an ultimate, before Lightning Lord goes up. So you'll always have 10 Lightning Lord hits. And, 10 Lightning Lords hits with speed boots compared to 5 Lightning Lord hits half the time with attack boots probably works out in your favor. Right now I'm kind of supplementing by using like Tingyun and Huohua to boost his energy reserves every time. But I do want my genuine to be like really good. It's just very difficult. Alright, so that was my mini rant about Bronya, which is fair because that was my first character that I pulled, my first 5-star. So it was important to bring her up. Yes, I'll talk about her for a little bit more. I do have her light cone. I got it from the Starlight store. I, keep on saving for those light cones because they're actually kind of good. But I do occasionally use them for buying the 4 stars in there. Not this time, go around, because it's Arlen. But I'm completely out of Starlight and need for the new banner to show up so that I can pull more, so that I can actually get whatever the next 4 star is. Yeah, I have Bronya's light cone. I think it's pretty good. Getting that extra skill point every once in a while is very important. And Bronya usually gives 66% damage increase. So with her with this light cone, she's actually doing a 96% damage increase, which means that most of the characters that you're pairing with Bronya should probably run an attack orb so that they're not oversaturated on damage, because, the 32% damage increase is going to be very small compared to the 96% you're getting from Bronya. I've gotten her important traces. I'm going to probably do the rest of them. Avishek, welcome in. Just because Bronya is like an OG character of mine, so it's important for me to get her stuff up. She's currently using guard set just because I farm a lot for Sela on the Quantum's set. So you eventually just get enough good pieces so that you end up with 186 crit damage on your Bronya. 0 crit rolls. This is actually a perfect crit rate for Bronya because she automatically scores critical hits as part of her traces. So I want Bronya to be maybe a little bit faster, maybe like 143, 144, something like that. So she can hit the next breakpoint. 138 is 4 over the 134 speed breakpoint though, so that's pretty good. I don't mind it. I say this is a pretty decent Bronya. The reason why I'm not really farming a specific set for Bronya is because I'm waiting for this upcoming set to come out in 2.6 where using your skill on an ally gives them crit damage. I will be farming for that. And that's when I'm going to upgrade my Bronya. Next up is Sela, because that was my second character that I pulled. She is using the Cruising the Stellar Sea light cone for now. 16% crit rate sometimes, 32% other times. I am going to eventually get her signature light cone. Nope, I don't want synthesize, I want databank. I'm slowly working towards having an excellent Sela. 18% all the time, so sometimes less crit rate, but that's okay. My crit rate is pretty good. And then if you get up to 160 speed, then you increase your basic attack and skill damage by 36%, and your crit rate on your, or crit damage on your ultimate is up by 72%, which would be very nice. Right now, Sela actually doesn't really need that much more speed. Because sometimes I run her in a team like this.
Someone else take this one. Nice job.
And then you can see that she's like just shy. Oh well, she hasn't used her skill yet.
Lend me your strength. We've entered the storm. To guard and defend. Crush them. I'll free you from your chain. Disappear among the sea of butterflies.
So this is Resurgence. You get an extra turn. This doesn't count as your turn yet. So then Bronya's 66% skill is still on me. There it is. 1 turn remaining. And I get the 11% speed boost from March 7th. I need to upgrade that trace one more time to get to 11% instead of 10.8. And then the speed boost from Huahua's E1 is 12%. And then the skill, I still haven't used skill yet. Brings me up to 158. So we're so close. We're so close. And we have like no speed is on my Zila. Hey there, TL Baker. New profile picture. I'm seeing that. You got the Splatoon set up. Very nice.
Assistance is timely.
It's been about 1 year since I started Honkai Star Rail. So I'm doing a quick little overview of my account
Show you action dragon white
and explaining some of my characters.
Don't mess with me. I'll free you from disappear among the sea of butterflies. Illusions of the past.
Oh, that just killed him outright. 90k. So I'm hoping, I'm thinking that even though I don't have any speed at all, I have a little bit of speed, like 2 from there. Like I got 1, not even a roll, just like the base 2 speed from here. And then once I give... Oh, actually, that is already at the max. Oh no, that's so unfortunate. Actually, I'm gonna have to come up with 2 more speeds somewhere to get to 160. Otherwise, I'm missing out on like 12% crit damage and 6% damage increase. Or get the Bronya Eidolon, which I can't really choose to get anymore because, you know, now it's all just random. Yeah, 2 more speed, and then my Sela is all set to go for getting her light cone. So I'm all saving up for that. I don't really plan on getting Zila Eidolons because they're not really that helpful. This one is like not that great. If you just farm better, then you don't really need it. 15% more crit rate for enemies that are under 80%. This one's pretty nice though. Speed boost increase for every 2, can stack up to 2 times. So now you get a 50% speed boost instead of a 25% speed boost after your second turn. This one is really, really good. 15% energy when you defeat an enemy is like a lot. So that's like a take infinite turns type of Sela situation. I'm never getting E6. It'll be like 5 years before this happens. But basically, she does bonus ultimate damage to enemies that are hit by her ultimate every time they're attacked. But for one turn, that could be a lot. Like if you could put Sela on like a follow-up team, and then that would just be like, you know, an extra 60% of her ultimate damage. Alright, my current favorite character to use, I use her in every single turn, every single team, is March 7th. This character is so busted, I can't believe they gave this away for free. So her speed increases by 10% when she's got her Shifu, and then she's giving her Shifu 60% crit rate, or 60% crit damage, sorry, and break effect by 36% for 2 turns every time she uses an enhanced basic attack, which is like all the time. And she's like gaining energy on her turn, and like, you know, her own crit damage is going crazy too. She's just so absolutely broken. It's wild. You've already seen her in action a couple of times, and everyone that's watching this probably has their own already. So there's not really much for me to really go into here, but this character is so beyond broken. Here are her stats. 80% crit rate. It says 100% crit damage, but it's actually more than that because of her... so it's really like 150 or so. Hua Hua, my first limited healer. Fun fact, I typically love healers in most video games. Like when I played Final Fantasy XI, my first character was a white mage. When I played Pokemon Unite, my first character was Eldegoss. Like, you know, I'm a healer at heart. This character's gone through a lot of changes. She used to use Hackerspace for a while. I think Hackerspace is a little overrated because you use your ultimate and then everyone has that speed boost, and then, you know, they take their one turn and then that speed boost is gone. So it's never really like saved a run for me. But having one extra skill point at the beginning of battle is pretty nice because every single character wants to use their skill at the beginning. But after that one skill, then Ho-Ho uses a basic attack and March 7th uses a basic attack. So everyone becomes skill point neutral, or the team is skill point neutral after that first go round. I did pick up her E1. I got her on her first run forever ago, right before the Argenti banner. And then just on this rerun, I got the E1, which is very, very good. An extra turn of Divine Provision means that you use your skill every 3 turns instead of every 2, which makes her strictly SP positive when before she was only SP neutral. And I also got her Light Cone, which is only okay. Sometimes I feel like it would be even better on Gallagher. She didn't really need it, but it is sometimes nice. Well, I'll take that back. The healing portion of it is fine, and it doesn't really matter too much, and that would be probably better on Gallagher. And the energy regen is also really good, probably for Gallagher. But the fact that she actually has this little bit at the bottom, where every time she heals an ally, their attack increases up to 5 times, for like a 12% attack boost, that's pretty good. That's like, you know, as good as using this 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless. It's actually better than that. This is a 8% attack boost, and she's giving 12% from her Light Cone, in addition to the 12% speed boost. So 12% speed, 12% attack, or 20% attack. I'm thinking I might replace the Fleet of the Ageless with Broken Keel, just so I can spread out the buffs even more. So we could have, like, you know, 10% crit damage and 12% attack and 12% speed, because that typically will give you more boosts than putting all your eggs in one basket. But I'm okay with what we've got right now. Those are like a little bit of old and the new. So these are like the old units that I use all the time. And Mark 7 is now my new unit I use all the time. I already talked about Jing Yuan. But let's talk about my newest powerhouse, Fei Xiao. This character's like actually busted. I've talked on the stream many times about why Zila is so good. And it's because she gives herself a lot of everything. I guess I should say that she gives herself a little of everything. So Zila, with this light cone, she increases her attack by 40% when she kills something, which she's doing all the time. So 40% attack. And then she enters the buff state, which is... Alright, so quantum res pin by 20%. That's just a 20% damage boost. So 40% attack, 20% res pin. And then here it is, the amplification. That's not... that's new. Enters the amplification state? That's not what that used to be called, right? Interesting. It's not important, it's just words, but... so she gives herself 80% damage bonus, 40% attack, 20% res penetration, and with the quantum set, she gives herself somewhere between 10 to 20% defense ignore. That's like a little bit of everything. That's great. No crit damage. It'd be nice if she gave herself crit damage, but Bronya gives crit damage, so they work well with each other. And what else is missing? I mean, vulnerability. That's the other damage source. So those are the only two that they're missing. Now, Fei Xiao, if I had her light cone, would do just about as much. So Fei Xiao, when using her skill, increases attack by 48%. That light cone was 40%, now this is 48%. So 48% attack, and crit damage increases by 36% of her follow-up attacks. That's where most of her damage comes from. Her ultimate is considered, follow-up damage. So that's what, attack, and that is crit damage. And then there's no wind res penetration or anything like that. And she doesn't normally have defense ignore, but if you give her light cone, which of course I was too broke to actually get, then that is also defense ignore, up to 54% defense ignore, which is absolutely insane. Up to, what is that, 78? If you got it S5. And on top of that, so Zila doesn't have really good Eidolons, but Fei Xiao even has good Eidolons too. This one's kind of whatever. Her ultimate does more damage. The damage dealt, so the damage multiplier increases by 1 for every hit of your ultimate up until the last hit. So you get 10% damage for the first hit, 20% for the next one, 30% for the next one, and so on. This one is busted. When an ally does a follow-up attack, you get 2 stacks of your ultimate charge instead of 1. So you're basically just using ultimates all the time. This is more powerful probably than E1 Danheng, or more powerful than E2 Acheron, or E1 Black Swan. This is really, really powerful. Man, that's really good. This is my first time reading this one, but Your follow-up deals skill amounts of toughness reduction instead of basic attacks of toughness reduction, and then increases your speed, so you just get more attacks going. And there it is, the all-type res pin. And now your follow-up is counted as ultimate damage too, which means that the res pin from this also affects your follow-up from the talent, in addition to the toughness reduction. And then in addition to that, the crit damage as well. But, you know, E6, that's like insane. That's like a 5-year plan sort of thing. But, you know, out of all the damage dealers that came out, you know, CeeLo is always relevant. It still is relevant. But finally, someone came about that, you know, you could consider being power creep to CeeLo, because she does the same. I don't even have enough to show off this crazy damage, but you'll see it when I do the story stuff anyway. Last but not least, although recently has been you notice that I don't even have him on my teams, any of my teams right now, is we got Aventurine somewhere. We actually don't have Aventurine anywhere. I use them pretty often though. Like I used to use Huohua like all the time. Then I got Aventurine, and then I was using Aventurine instead of Huohua all the time. Because when it just comes to keeping the team alive, E0, S0 Aventurine is a lot better than E0, S0 Huohua. But now that I have E1, S1 Huohua, she is a lot better than E0, S0 Aventurine. Because she does the speed boost, she does the attack bonus, she's SP positive just like Aventurine was. You know, the only difference really is, you know, she does a little bit less damage because with the follow-ups from his attacks, then he's got that going for him. And when the enemies are really fast and strong, then you don't necessarily die before your turn comes around. Still need to upgrade these final couple of traces, but he's on the back burner right now. When his banner comes around and I get his signature light cone, then I will compare him with Huohua again and see how it goes. It would be nice to have put him officially on the follow-up team. Right now, Huohua does a lot better on the follow-up team because of the reasons I already explained. But, you know, if I gave him speed boots maybe, then he could actually probably be a little bit better. I'm not bothering with the boots right now because I guess I could give him these speed boots. I actually did not know that I had leveled speed boots already. Wow, because they're sorted by recommended, they go all the way to the bottom. I think it does put him underneath the 4,000 though. It does, by quite a bit actually. But when I give him his signature light cone, then I'll be back above it, I think. I think definitely, because the base defense is a lot higher on the signature light cone as well. So, yeah, just waiting for that. And now he's at 147 speed, which is actually pretty speedy compared to my other characters, right? Yeah, 147. That actually makes him second fastest on 147. Actually makes him like super duper fast. Welt's faster, Hanya's faster. and Topaz is faster. So maybe I just live with a low crit rate for now, and the low damage and the low shields, but I don't really use them anyway at the moment. I think that he'll get another resurgence after his light cone comes out though, if I'm able to pull it. Yeah, that will help a lot, I think. Getting the 3 charges for every turn he takes. And these aren't set in stone as well, because remember, I do get the 10% speed boost. So he'll still be in like the middle of the pack, which would be pretty nice. Let's see, 25 speed less than this is 122. So yeah, he would actually be the slowest person on the team before this. And once she gives Fei Xiao her Shifu, then she will be faster because she'll have the 10% speed boost. So she'll be at like 150 something. But March moves all around the action order all the time because of the enhanced basic attacks. I do hear that Fei Xiao works better with speed boots as well, because, you know, once you see this in action, and let's like show off somewhere. Where would I show this off? Maybe in Memory of Chaos or Apocalyptic Shadow or something like that. I could do Apocalyptic Shadow, since it actually will be something that is quote unquote an actual show off, as opposed to me being completely dominated by the Memory of Chaos. Oh no, this is what's it called? Herta's here. It's not as impressive to look at.
This one looks dangerous.
Upgrade configured.
Feeling lucky.
I really wanted to show off what it looks like when Fei Xiao's on the team with March 7th. I guess we'll just have to wait for the story portion for that to happen.
Easy, Numby.
This battle is so RNG. So when one of these things die, then when the next time that an ally takes an action, then proof of deck goes on something else random.
Hedge your bets. Watch your head.
So we went back to adventuring again. So that's like another waste there. He's about to mess up though. He's gonna hit us all here. Just fine. He's gonna do this. And so ideally, if we get lucky, then Fei Xiao will get the energy recharge. It almost never happens though. Oh, and like March was all not March, but like Herta was almost at her ultimate charge already. So that was a complete waste.
Go, Numby.
Sure, I'll play along.
Market of investing in victory means playing the long game. Time to twirl. Never hesitate. Do you know who this big diamond? It's all yours.
I venture forth to hunt forever. Triumphant! Cha, cha, cha.
Victory is inevitable.
I hit the mark.
Now since
Cast of us.
Fei Xiao is using
Take it all.
Dr. Ratio's light cone. It means that she maxes out her damage like right now because she's got the critical damage up, the wind shear, and the proof of debt.
Liquidation! Hey! Time to twirl! Go! Snappy!
I venture forth forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable! Time to twirl! Never hesitate!
Watch your head.
Oh no! Darn Aventurine. Those kills are supposed to be for her to,
What are you looking at?
because of her light cone. Oh. Now she's missing out on the attack increase.
Easy, Numby! Liquidation! The market is unpriced! Commencing in victory means playing the long game!
I venture forth to hunt forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
Oh. I just realized that he kept his shields up the entire time because of the, what's it called?
Time to twirl! Honored meeting!
Ah, darn.
Watch your head. Fangs and claws got them.
Never hesitate! Time to twirl! Time to twirl! Do you know who I... It's Big Diamond!
I think I'm gonna accidentally kill the double dice.
I don't know.
Lost internet for a little bit, but I think we're back now. Yeah, we're back now. Uh, 32, 64. Oh, don't you do it? Okay, good.
I venture forth to hunt forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable! Time to twirl!
That's not too bad. That's pretty lucky.
Fangs and claws got them.
Time to twirl!
I venture forth to hunt forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
Oh, I should have used my ult first, because he might accidentally... Oh, he gives it to everyone, I think. Yeah, he gives it to everyone.
Dice have been cast. Bust.
So now he has proof of debt and this one, so now I guess this is as good a time as any to use this.
Take it all. Watch your head. I venture forth to hunt forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable! The market is unpredictable. Commencing in victory means playing the long game! Do you know who I am? It's Big Diamond! It's all yours! Time to twirl!
I venture forth to hunt forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable! Time to twirl! Oh dear! Confiscated!
Hedge your bets.
Never hesitate!
Oh, he's dead.
I venture forth forever.
Triumphant! Victory is inevitable!
Not bad for a random. Going without any prep or any practice. That wasn't the level of luck that I needed in order to get the 3 stars, but like I said, that's just completely RNG fight. Like, you know, the way that the Venturine shield bounce, the way that, you know, when Herta does the follow-up attack, then Fei Xiao will do her talent follow-up on one of the random dice. And if it's one of the ones that isn't currently has their weakness exposed, then it does like no damage. Or if it hits a Venturine, then it does no damage. Like, I had to do so many resets on that. I actually recently learned that it actually shows you how many resets you've done on your profile. "71 attempts. So 70 before I actually tried just now. It's all RNG. And then the next side is even worse because it's Harmony Trailblazer, and everything depends on the bounces of your skill. At one point in time, I actually was running Welt instead of Himiko. Or actually, I was using Welt instead of March 7th. I was using Welt on the second side, and I was using March 7th instead of Herta on the first side. And technically, it's better, or it can be better. The side one is a lot more consistent because March 7th really helps Fei Xiao a lot. And then, like, sometimes you would have, like, really good runs with Welt on side 2 because he's another character with bounce skills. But it was just so frustrating to have, like, you know, no one be broken sometimes, everyone be broken other times. Like, it was too much RNG. It was so awful. I didn't want to do it. I think I hit the highlights. I guess I can talk about some of the characters I'm currently working on. And I actually star them usually. So I want to upgrade Clara's traces here because she's like mostly done, almost, but not quite. I want her to be 10-10-10. And then this is only one round of her what's it called? Of her relic grinding. And it's only okay. I'm going to replace Inert Salsodo with Durin because she doesn't actually do ultimate damage. So I may as well give her the thing that gives her 25% damage increase instead of 25% damage increase. And her crit rate's not that great either. But she does pretty well, I'd say. Even though I don't think that she's very well built. But I'm working on it. Actually, I'm not working on it right now, but at some point in the future, I will be working on it. And I have lots of potential gear. Why does Moza have this really amazing physical set instead of Clara? What even is this? Why did that happen? Oh, I actually do know why that happened. That happened because Moza was holding all of the Wind Valorous sets for Fei Xiao back when they were level 0. And then I leveled, and then Fei Xiao was just using, like, in fact, I think that the Fei Xiao in Memory of Chaos, not Memory of Chaos, but in Apocalyptic Shadow is using just like a bunch of stat stick stuff. Unless, maybe not. No, she upgraded that. But for a while she was just using like all the best crit rate sets that I had on the entire account. And she was at like 99% crit rate or something like that. But somehow I managed to get to 92 even with her best in slot set. pretty nice. Having multiple triple relic drops helped with that a lot. 68%, I gave her the better thing, and how come it's not any better? Oh, because it was the crit rate. Oh, it wasn't, I guess it just wasn't that much. It was just 6 more. I wonder if I have any other pieces just kind of hanging around. 8% crit rate. I feel like crit rate is generally better than crit damage. Like, I know that you're supposed to have like a 1 to 2 ratio, but like not critting definitely feels a lot worse than you know, always critting for less. Jinguin's on my favorite list because I want to upgrade his relics. As I said before, I want him to be 144 speed. I've already talked about him enough though. Harmony Trailblazer is just too broken. I'm just building her fully 12 12 12 because I literally use Harmony Trailblazer every single MOC because Super Break is super easy. Like I can just put any character on a team with Trailblazer and Gallagher, and it just works. Like Himiko has no break effect in her build. Sometimes I give her a break effect rope. Like March has no break effect. Jing Yuan, I've done super break Jing Yuan. I've done super break Serval. I've done super break Welt. Like they're all just, it just always works for some reason because it's just such a easy to put together team. And this is like not even that good relic set. Like I'm at 200 break effect, which is pretty good, but this is only like 1 round of this. Like I could have even more probably, right? 2 break effect rolls there, right? This is already started with a break effect, so this could be even higher. Speed, like I don't even have speed on this, which is pretty important for Trailblazer. Break effect with no speed. Speed with no break effect. Like there's so much room for improvement here. And I'm like barely even trying right now. 145 speed is pretty speedy though. But like once again, I don't have any speed on this. I don't have any speed on that. Oh wait. I don't have any speed on that. It's just all Eidolons, which I think you get 30% from somewhere. No, you don't. I'm thinking about Sushang. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So the fewer enemies on the field, the more damage your super break damage does. I could probably incorporate that into more strategies. But yeah, like I said, it's just too easy. So just work up some of these traces. I might go back and do some more relic grinding, but like, you know, I actually might do that relic because that is the same set as Pioneer. Or Prisoner, whatever the critical hit or crit rate set is, and I have a couple of characters coming up that will be using that. Gallagher, this is actually my actual Gallagher set. This level 0 thing because it has break effect, so it's like better than all the other things that I have. So I'll level that up at some point in time. He doesn't need much. He's just got speed and he's got break effect. Sometimes I give him the speed set here. 144 already. But what was I going to level him up? I guess I was going to level his some of his stuff up because he's just on every team, so I may as well. He's not on every team. He's on every Memory of Chaos. Like every time the choir trio comes up, then he's like a shoe-in. More traces here. I don't really have a set that I'm going to use for, or I might use like hackerspace or something like that at some point in the future. She could use the hackerspace that that Huohua used to be using, but it's just worse. Really, her best set is this Musketeer because it increases her attack, which increases the buffed allies' attack, and increases her speed, and she's SP positive. Yeah, I've got some options here. Attack and effect res, but I'm looking for speed instead. Attack and speed, perfect. Attack and effect res, speed and effect res. Speed and attack. Speed, effect res, and attack. My poor Tengyun's gonna be so squishy when this is all over. Speed boots with effect res and attack. The crit rate's not that important though. They like Flee the Ageless? I mean, I guess that's... No, that doesn't make any sense. Well, unless it also increases your own attack. If it increases your own attack with Flee to the Ageless, then I can see it actually, because then you're double dipping. It probably does double dip, if I'm completely honest. Serval, I used to use Serval a lot. Like around the time that I was going through the story in the Lawfu, I started using Serval because I needed lightning DPS and she was lightning DPS. And then when Acheron came out and like everything was lightning weak, it was great. And I used her all the time. And then I used her for Super Break as well. It was great. Not as many things are lightning weak anymore because Acheron's banner is gone. So, you know, that's that. Yukong, I just like Yukong. She's not very good most of the time, but then she's incredible some of the time because she gives her team 88% attack and like 33% crit rate and like 68% crit damage, or 66% crit damage. No, it's actually probably like 72 crit damage once I get her Eidolons up. So she's sometimes the best buffer in the entire game. And I think that if I use her with Fei Shao and Topaz, then that's like the most amount of damage I can do in one turn. So, yeah, I want to build her just to have her. I've actually used her in like the last Memory or Chaos. And then some characters that I want to build because they're like low level. So these characters are like on their way to be ascended. Speaking of being ascended, that's what I was working on in that domain. I was leveling up my Pela. She's not very helpful right now, but she will be once I get the before the tutorial mission starts. And that is 1 year. That's what a 1 year free-to-play account looks like. My next pulling plans, as I've mentioned a couple of times already, when Adventuring banner comes out next patch, I'm pulling for the Light Cone. And I don't really have any other plans until Zila reruns. And then I'm going to get her Light Cone. Maybe a couple of copies because... You know, I haven't decided whether I'm going to pass around in the night. It's kind of difficult to get to 160 speed, so I probably won't. But I will get at least one copy. If I can get two, I would get two. Because, yeah, I want my Sela to be powerful. And then And then I don't really plan on getting any characters at the moment other than that. But I will listen in on the broadcast for the upcoming characters kits. And if a character like works, then I'll pull for it. I suspect this Sunday is going to be the next character that I pull, because based on the upcoming relic set that looks like it belongs to Sunday, like, you know, use a skill or a ultimate on a single ally and then that ally gets a critical damage boost. If he like does something crazy to make Jingyuin or Sela super busted, I have no choice. I have to pull. I actually have a good amount to pull saved up right now. $46. The way the Duke Inferno said looks like it came from Duke's Inferno's literal body. Yeah.
I was so scared. I thought you were a goner there. We're so lucky the general made it in time.
Genshin, that was amazing. That final blow you dealt to Hule. How have I never seen that before?
Was it really us who defeated Hule? Why do I feel like he suddenly started to flag during our battle?
It must have been our awe-inspiring righteousness that struck fear into his heart.
Don't think that
Really
was
are
it.
an overthinker. What's the point of worrying about these things? Who cares why he started to weaken? All that matters is that we won.
The hunt is finally over. Thank you for holding out so long. The Cloud Knights are withdrawing as we speak. Lieutenant Yang Ching, how are you holding up?
I could take on 10 more Huleis.
I thought I was done for.
I wouldn't want General Jing Yuan to lose the disciple that brings him so much pride. When I sensed that Hule was not on the ground, I raced to get here as quickly as I could.
You know, she like jumped to get here
Who would have
probably.
imagined that I would arrive late to the battlefield for the first time in my life? No. Perhaps you young ones' blades were just too fast for me. I originally thought, in the best case scenario, you would team up and hold this beast back while protecting yourselves. However, you joined forces and defeated Hule. Ah, the youth are truly to be feared and respected. Come, we need to lock up Hule once again before anything unexpected happens.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago when that happened. So the whole before thing is a little late on that.
Such an unforgettable blade. So similar to the one wielded by that woman who defeated me all those years ago. Over 700 years have passed, and I thought I would have a way to overcome it by now. But in the end, my fangs and claws were too slow. You won, child.
Stop struggling, Hule. There's plenty of time for you to be tortured by your regrets when you go back to the Shackman prison.
Yes, I was defeated, but this was not unexpected. And regardless, you still showed your face, Fei Shao.
I have to take a moment. One moment, everyone.